What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and I hope you're feeling wonderful today. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Cancer, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. So the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mars, wherever, Cancer, this one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based off our ruler here, the good old Moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and when she's going void, of course, just all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, and everything will be fantastic, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Oh, lovely. Just interesting energy all around here, Cancer. So, Cancer, since Aries has a majority of the day today with the moon energy, we're going to give it to Aries. And with the moon being in Aries, this is a very very passionate placement for the moon. You know, Aries energy Aries is always bringing that heat. You know, this is a very ambitious, very confident energy. So if there's some projects that you've been wanting to undergo, or maybe there's maybe we're thinking about a job shift, or maybe there's a special someone we've been thinking about talking with. You know, Aries energy is great for that, for being bold, being assertive, you know, really taking that command there, Cancer, you know, showing some bravery, you know, and maybe this is something, maybe we want to try something different. Aries energy is great for that, you know, and really building up your confidence and things there, Cancer. But the one thing with Aries energy, on the more unbalanced end, they can be a little aggressive sometimes. So that's just something to be mindful of as well, Cancer. And then the moon is still in a waning crescent phase, or a balsamic moon. And with this phase, this is really this phase is really about a time to really just kind of rest, relax, and really recuperate, you know, because whenever we work on, you know, adding new stuff into these, with these new lunar cycles, I promise I'll be able to sentence at you here in a minute, Cancer. But whenever we're working on these new lunar cycles, it takes a lot to integrate sometimes these new routines and, you know, letting go of stuff and adjusting to the new energies and stuff like that. So, oh, sorry, Cancer, I thought I had to sneeze there for a second. But this is also a great energy for, you know, you're doing some self-care, reconnecting with yourself. Very hermit energy that we're working with here. So, you know, just kind of release control to the universe. Let this energy kind of settle in and get ready for this next lunar cycle. Coming up here in a few more days here, Cancer. We're getting closer to our birthday season. I'm pumped. I just did our yearly thing, our monthly video not too long ago. Man, talk about abundant. But let's go ahead and get into your general energy of the day. Nice. I'm with it. So you got the 9th card of Taurus here, which is the Still card. And with this card, this is a card of refinement, taste, culture, style, fine-tune, concentrate, develops over time, purify, filter, draw out, infusion, spirits, alcohol, perfume, reduction, and cultivation. And you know, Cancer, the first thing that actually kind of popped out to me with this card was almost like the taste and the culture and the style. And I almost feel like that if you've been, how do I want to put this? It's almost like if you've been wanting to, I don't know, maybe enjoy more kind of artsy things, maybe like going to, what I mean by that, maybe like going out to like a festival. Like, I feel like it's just like adding some more flavor to you, Cancer. You know, really kind of, if you've been wanting to, maybe, I don't know, if you've had this impulse to like go to a museum, or again, maybe an art gallery, maybe they're doing like concerts in the park or something along those lines, or something along those lines, Cancer. Taurus energy is very creative, and also Aries energy is very creative. I got a nephew who's in Aries, and I mean, that boy knows how to crank. But there's there's something here I feel like about maybe like finding your own taste in things. You know, maybe you're the type that, you know, considering we're the nurturers, you know, if we may be the type that's like, you know, maybe cater to like, oh, well, what do you want to do? You know, like, well, as long as you're happy and things like along those lines. But I feel like this is almost like be a little selfish, Cancer. Do some things that you like. You know, like what are your interests? What are you, you know, what are you, you know, what do you like? You know, that's kind of what I'm really kind of getting with this, Cancer, kind of drawing out more of who you are in this and something along those lines, Cancer. We're going to get some more of that in a minute. But also, when this card pops up as well, just because, you know, when it talks about like the alcohol, things along those lines, the kind of the purifying things, I always like to think of this card as just like, and this is not like, you know, health advice or anything, Cancer, but I feel like this is kind of checking in, you know, just like, let's say like if life's been a little busy and maybe we've had a chance to make like ourselves like a home cooked meal, or maybe we've been, maybe we have been kind of going out, maybe partying a little bit, Cancer, which, you know, this is a safe space here, in which, you know, I'm with it. But every now and again, it's nice to give that body a break sometimes, allow to kind of work the toxins out and things, you know. This could be, you know, maybe like doing some, having like a spa day, or maybe doing some like, doing some, I don't know, maybe like a juice cleanse. Well, maybe not a juice cleanse, but like, you know, like, what is that one thing called? Oh, like a Whole30 thing, you know, maybe doing like, maybe we're thinking about changing up, how we're eating or something along those lines, Cancer. But I feel that it's just making sure to give your body a break, you know, especially with, and it's something to pay attention to, Cancer. You know, when I'm thinking about Taurus energy, they are a sign of the senses. So if we've been maybe around a lot of like loud noises, or maybe a lot of strong smells, or something along those lines, you know, trying to bring a little more calmness and purity and stillness into our lives here. But let's get some tarot on this and see how we can work with these energies. All right, there's our ruler. What's good, girl? Let's see what's going down here, Cancer. So you got the King of Cups, the High Priestess. Okay, so you get the High Priestess, King of Cups, Five of Pentacles up right here, and then we have the Five of Cups in reverse. And so, Cancer, I feel with this energy, if there is something that maybe because I feel like with this Still card, you know, if there's something that has been kind of maybe holding us down, or maybe we're realizing that maybe we can't party as much as we used to, or that maybe if we've been on like maybe like a fast food just kind of kick or something along those lines, maybe we're noticing that things aren't really working, you know, aren't really sitting in the body or working with the body like it used to. And maybe that's because sometimes, you know, as we get older, Cancer, you know, the body changes, you know, how we used to be able to eat and just be able to consume everything as a kid, you know, that changes over time. And sometimes that can make us feel some kind of way. It's just like, well, I used to be able to do this. What happened? How come it seems like you kind of lost your taste for it? But that's just part of the growth process, Cancer. And I almost feel like with this Five of Pentacles here, it's just like if we've been wanting to make this change, but we're having troubles maybe doing this by ourselves, let's say, it's just like, it's because I get it sometimes, you know, it's like where we'll have these ideas and then it's just like we'll get started, but then, you know, life gets a little busy again, and then you kind of can get right back into the cycle, and then we're like, oh, well, let me try again next lunar cycle, and we just kind of give up on that one. I feel like that this is maybe even, you can make this to a thing, like maybe we can incorporate a friend in the mix here, maybe hit up a King of Cups, someone who we know is going to help us stick to this, whatever this is that we're trying to draw out, or maybe trying to purify or something along those lines. But it just seems that if we were to work on this thing, Cancer, I really feel like that this really can help you bring yourself into balance, you know, and really kind of help you really tune and really pay attention to those signals to your, Cancer. Because if we're feeling this type of way, that's your intuition trying to get your attention, you know, before things get out of balance, before things maybe turn into a devil moment or to like a Seven of Cups, or, you know, getting into those weird kind of realms here. But I can get where we do, because, you know, the High Priestess, you know, where, yes, she deals with intuition and things, but she's also the moon. And the moon, you know, that deals with our subconscious, our emotions. And this could be something too, Cancer, where maybe there's, because I feel like there's something here with this Five of Cups about maybe if we're with whatever this is, I feel like this thing might be to our detriment, Cancer, but let me get a little bit more on this Five of Pentacles here. Because I feel like there's something like maybe deep down that's been wanting to get cleared or something along those lines. Let's see about that, Cancer. Interesting. Speaking of Taurus. All right, so divine counterparts here, Cancer. So you got the Hierophant in reverse, and then you got the Four of Cups, and then the Two of Wands upright here. And yeah, Cancer, I almost feel like that if something has been, I almost feel like it's like asking ourselves, because this could even be like maybe if we're, maybe if we smoke, for example, or whatever that is. If something has become, and I don't feel like this isn't a judgment, Cancer, but it's more so of like asking yourself when we're doing certain things. It's just like, why am I doing this? Like, is this really moving me forward on my journey? Is this resonating with me? Is this, just something along those lines? Like if this feels like this is something that has been just kind of just become this habit or something along those lines, and it's just kind of slowed down the process. I really feel like pay attention to that, Cancer. And again, this isn't a health advice, but just thinking about this, Mercury is going to be, is retrograding in all the earth signs this year. And this really is kind of like, retrogrades are about self-reflection. And with the retrograding in all the earth signs, here, we just finished retrograding in Taurus, it's asking ourselves, about this physical realm, because that's where earth energy deals with. And it's just like, if something has foundation-wise, or health-wise, or even like towards achieving our goals, are things along those lines. Because sometimes too, these whatever, I want to say like toxins or things along those lines are just like when we start overindulging, then it really does start blurring the lines, and it kind of makes the journey kind of foggy here, Cancer. So just something to be mindful of there, because if we allow this thing to keep developing over time, it gets harder and harder to kind of kick here. So I just feel like, temperance, finding moderation in life. And I don't mean just in like, in everything, Cancer, just finding that balance, And if we notice something that has gone a little overboard, maybe we're, however this may be translating, just something to get eyes on, Cancer. Alrighty. Interesting start here, Cancer. Let's see what are going to be some challenges when working with these energies. All right, Cancer. Interesting. Okay. Oh, this is a nice. This is the first I pulled the Death card in this one. I like that. So you got the. Oh, this everything's up right here, Cancer. So you have the Eight of Wands, the Death card, the King of Wands, the Queen of Swords, and then the Ten of Cups here. And so, Cancer, I really feel like if you know that there's something that has been maybe bringing you down, or maybe has been maybe affecting your cups, maybe we've been, maybe once upon a time this thing was like, I don't want to say it was fulfilling, but used to be just like something that would bring us a lot of fun, or maybe it would be something the way we would kind of wind down after, let's say, it kind of reminds me of if we were the type that maybe it started off as we'd have a glass of wine or maybe something after winding down after a long day, but then after a while we've noticed that it's become like 2 glasses, and then maybe over time it's become 3 glasses. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of become a little sneaky like that. I feel like that it's just being aware of if things are starting to change in that direction, because that type of stuff there, Cancer, can be a little sneakier than you think, and it happens a lot faster sometimes than we may expect there. And I just feel that when you do start noticing this thing, Cancer, it's just like, let's get a game plan. It's just like, okay, it's like, I have been maybe overindulging a little bit as of late. Let's just pull back just a little bit, Cancer. Because I even feel like too, with the Four of Cups, this is the moon in Cancer. And that kind of energy is like, you can, with the moon being at home in our sign, we can get kind of caught up with some things, because this could even become where maybe it's become like a self-medicating type of thing or something along those lines, Cancer. But even on a broader scale, because it's just like, that's just a little bit, with that energy. But if there's anything in particular that is just like, maybe it's been affecting our senses, just like, again, maybe there have been some strong smells around. Maybe we're in a really kind of noisy environment. It's really just kind of, this is not maybe how we pictured, being with how we pictured life kind of being right now. I feel like it's energy, especially with the King of Wands and the Death card, just like, let's change this up a little bit. Maybe we need to think about possibly moving to a different location in town, possibly, if that's something that's resonating with you, or whatever that is, Cancer. But let me get a little bit more on this Eight of Wands, Cancer. Oh, Cancer, you racking up kings here. All right. Interesting. Okay, so the Eight of Wands is clarified. Yeah. Okay. Okay, interesting. So the Eight of Wands is clarified by the Seven of Pentacles upright and then the King of Pentacles in reverse here. And so Cancer, I feel like just be mindful of what we're investing where we're investing our energies into, and maybe even too the people that might be in our lives as well, because this could be something that maybe we have some, you might be the King of Pentacles where you're like, I think I'm noticing that there's been this, maybe this change is, I'm noticing that things are getting a little unstable, it's getting a little out of control here, but maybe we got a King of Cups who's ready to party and a King of Wands ready to throw a jam, and they're just like, oh, come on, Cancer, let's go do this thing. But yeah, very interesting energy here, Cancer. It just seems that if we've been, I really feel like there's something here that's trying to change, or that's like we're trying to get ahead of this thing before it becomes a thing, or something that we're gonna need to work on. So yeah, just something to pay attention, Cancer, to just any sort of, and this could be maybe even when we're talking about fine taste, this could even be with food. Maybe we've been overindulging again, or maybe just like comfort eating possibly, or something along those lines. But yeah, Cancer, I would just say be mindful with that. And some ways, something too, maybe while we're contemplating this energy, because just thinking, as you got the Two of Wands, that's one of Aries' hottest minor arcana cards. Something too, maybe while we're thinking about this stuff, maybe getting outside, going for a walk, just kind of contemplating this stuff. Get yourself out of into just like a different space and just like a different energy or something along those lines. But yeah, something to think about there, Cancer. But let's get some advice from Mars here. Okay. So you got the World here. More. All right, last little bit, Cancer. Okay, let's see what we have here. So we have a lot of Wands here. So you have the World, the Nine of Wands, and the Three of Wands in reverse here. And then we have the Knight of Swords and then the Seven of Wands upright. And let's go ahead and switch back over here, Cancer. Because yeah, Cancer, I feel like some advice. Because it's not like I feel that we may not be in this thing right now. I feel like that there's just something that we need to get eyes on. It's like in its early stages right now. Or maybe it's something where we may have thought that we had like a because it doesn't, I'm not getting strong devil vibes. Like this seems something that is just like, it's kind of kind of harmless in a sense. It's just like, maybe it's just, it has been really stressful with maybe work or with life or, relationships or something along those lines. But, if that's the case, taking some time with the nine of wands, just maybe resting up a little bit and I feel like, too, with the Seven of Wands, when I was talking about how the King of Cups and the King of Wands were maybe being pressuring some of us, maybe Cancer, I feel like be mindful of that, because be mindful of any sort of like peer pressure, anything along those lines. It's not that I feel like these two are malicious or anything along those lines, but it's just like sometimes where we may compromise ourselves to not feel like we don't want to be like, how do I want to say this? We don't want to seem like maybe someone that's like, kind of ruining the party or just like bringing the vibe down or something along those lines. But what end up happening, Cancer, is just like if we don't consider ourselves in this, and how it affects you too, where sure you're helping these other kings stay upright, but you're in reverse, and how's that fair? And so, yeah, just pay attention to that, Cancer. And when you notice this thing, maybe just, again, I don't feel like this has to be anything like an aggressive type of treatment or anything along those lines. It's just like, let's just try to get stuff into balance if we notice like a slip up kind of happening here. Because this to me almost feels just like it's a very soft prelude to like a Seven of Cups area where we're getting to like debauchery and things along those lines. So yeah, just, and really think about that, because that does, over time, if we let this thing kind of drag out, it can start to limit your world starts to shrink a little bit, because then it's just like it's being built around this one thing here, because the things start to kind of spiral. So very interesting energy here, Cancer, but I think I'm going to leave that there. So just something to think about, Cancer. But if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up. Something else, sorry, for one more thing, Cancer, that just kind of popped into my head. Just like something about too, like maybe with what we're listening to, just like being mindful of just like the music that we're listening to, or the stuff that we're watching, or maybe even taking some breaks for something along those lines. Maybe we've been watching a lot of stressful TVs, or if maybe there's been like maybe a lot of, and listen, I don't have anything against like, like action violence, anything like that, but sometimes, that kind of violence and things that can desensitize people too, and that's a weird place to be. So that's just something like, like, again, like I was saying, temperance, but just interesting energy here, Cancer. But and if you know someone who you may notice that, like, I don't want to say like that, it doesn't, I'm not quite sure how to put this, Cancer. It feels like maybe if you notice like someone acting maybe a little out of character or something along those lines, share this, before I feel like things become before a lesson starts building up there, because this is definitely, I'm surprised the devil didn't pop up. This is kind of weird. This is getting into this. It's brewing. So, and Capricorn, the devil, that's our opposite sign. And when we get into those ruts, Cancer, that's is some work to do. But I'm about to get back to your reading. But and then tell these kings to subscribe, hit that bell button. You get notified when I have these videos each week. And then maybe something to do while we're working on this refinement and purifying and thing. I've been on this meditation app for years, Insight Timer, and I started a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. And it's just a group to post like positive messages, encouraging, positive affirmations, encouraging messages, things along those lines. And definitely as it grows, want to do some fun meditations, maybe like void a course with the High Priestess, or connecting with the, I don't know, bridging the heaven and earth with the Hierophant. We got to work that out, boy. But all that information, Cancer, down in the description box. And then, lastly, check your sun, your moon, your rising, your Mars place. Just check your chart, Cancer. I got some apps out in the box also if you want to check those out. And then I'm on over to my other channel, Alchemist 8. I just did the Cancer video there, the monthly one there, and that was, oh, Cancer, that was beautiful. I love, I'm just thank you in advance, Cancer, for, or thank you again for the energy that you brought for that one, because that was really lovely. But yeah, check out my channel, Alchemist 8. I do videos weekly there with different themes. I'm actually about to do our the yearly return for our birthday season here soon too. So just all kinds of cool stuff getting ready to happen there, Cancer. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here so I can get you out of here, Cancer. Look at that. We started off with the World, and now we got the Fool, because the World's been following us around for a little bit here, Cancer. But now I feel like it's possibly we're getting ready to move on to a new cycle here with the Fool, because the Fool is Uranus energy. There's a change. You know, we're looking towards the future. So, let me get your other Oracle card. But yeah, the Fool, I do feel like it's, you know, this is something that maybe we've been thinking about for a while, you know, trying to maybe switch up some habits, you know, maybe not go out like every day, or maybe we're thinking about, you know, again, changing up our how we eat, you know, maybe incorporating some more like home cooked meals, or even changing our environment, Cancer, you know, maybe think about doing a move, or if we're in like something maybe with, even with like, maybe there's something with work, or but hold on, let me get your Oracle card, Cancer. Let's see what you got here. Interesting. Okay, and that's kind of how this feels. Because you got the 15th card here. This is 15th card. Number 15, that's devil energy. And this is a Yarrow card. This is a card of harmony. This is ruled by Venus. And this is what I feel like. If there's something that just something that doesn't feel right, or that you notice that something is starting to get a little out of balance here, because this is very much, you see Libra here, you got the scales over here. I don't know, but this crane's doing a lot with its neck. But if you notice, Cancer, that just something is starting to get out of balance here, you know, just and it doesn't feel like it's a heavy thing right now. I just feel like it's one of those things where it's just like, Cancer. Then how do we get that thing back up there, Cancer? You know what I mean? So, and you know, that does start with, you know, taking care of yourself, maybe changing up the routine of what you do. You know, maybe if you used to go out to the club on Fridays, maybe we'll go to an art gallery this time, or maybe we'll go to a park, or maybe we'll go to, because, you know, that can be fun too, Cancer. You know, it's all, you know, just something to think about there, Cancer. But I think I'm gonna leave that there. So you stay safe out there with these, you know, with this changes, and, you know, with your going on your trips, possibly, as far as like, you know, maybe we're going out and getting out on the town, and, you know, Cancer, doing something just fun. Yeah, but do something fun for yourself, Cancer. Switch some things up. Maybe it's just like, it's like incorporating just some new routines, or just kind of freshen things up a little bit, Cancer. And I will catch you on the next one tomorrow.